Welcome to the Old Boar Plays Cities Skylines. This is a tutorial series where you can learn all about Railway 2 train networks. I'm putting in functioning railway infrastructure, and in this video I'll be expanding the Railyard to bring in specialized factories. Fairly soon, these distribution centers are going to clog up the roads with all this truck traffic. So I want to take these two back a little bit further. And sometimes the easiest way to do that is to remove them. Once you move these, the tracks will go back to vanilla. You'll have to use the Network Multi-tool and the Unlock Segment mode to change those tracks back. It's for those of you playing with money. You don't want to have to rebuild these all over again. I'm going to come out 19 units and then over 12 units. You could go up another 19 before you come over again. But if you want some zoning squares to put in some other buildings, you can go up 23 or 4. We'll go over 12 again. Now inside of Find It, you'll type distribution. We've been using these distribution center rail light or rail light 2. This one has the track on this side, as you can see here. But in this particular instance, we're going to use this one. And you see we have just enough room for a train track in there. Be sure to select your Railway 2 standard entry ground level. Now we'll put in the distribution center 2 long. It has the same color of roof. You can use the light colored roofs if you like. And you'll need to remember to select a source here. In this case, I'm going to select zoned industry farming products. This is a warehouse, and I haven't selected that source yet. I'll do the same. To connect these tracks, we're going to use, first of all, a piece of noted track so that our crossovers come in. You'll notice that this has a crossover track here. Those come in once you stretch out a piece of track near it. We'll need to use noted. Stretch out a track 9 units. Be sure to put on Anarchy and untoggle road bending. Now we'll use nodeless track. These tracks are too close together to use a regular noded connection. I'm going to go all the way out to this track, to that node. First, I want to check my catenaries. Make sure that I have the default catenary on. Actually, in this case, we're going to need double SAB. These other catenaries, we can replace the track fine, but once you make a connection, if you upgrade your track, the connection will be lost. We'll go ahead and use the double SAB and connect out to this node. The SAB puts the catenary on this side and the SAA puts it on this side. What I'm always watching for is these tracks here to make sure that I don't have any doubled tracks on that end. You'll see space appear between them. This is the space you'll see if your connection isn't smooth. The trains will still work, but you want smooth connections. Railway 2 is all about detailing your train lines. Move this in without holding down Alt. Check my connection again. Now I'll move this end in, holding down Alt to snap it into place. And I want to check my connection one more time. There's a little bit of doubling still. I'm more concerned about that smooth connection than I am the glitch. The glitches can be fixed. I just held down Alt to snap that in. You could move this by hand. Want to smooth out this connection here. It's good. Now we can replace these catenaries. We're going to have to move this one more time up here. Now we'll use the default catenary. And between here and here, we're going to use this one. These are named exactly the same. They're slightly different. You can see a very small dot there. That's one wire, and this is two wires. There's no poles here. You'll see the two wires came across, and we have a fairly smooth connection. You want to fix these little glitches, you can use a piece of pedestrian path. And I like to just put it out here and use Move It to move it into place. You can stretch these as well. You can see we have custom box cars coming in and custom trains coming in. If you want to learn how to do that, you can watch the previous video. I've downloaded an asset called Old Factory. These are concrete buildings, and they're industry buildings that you can put in. You can put these in to make your rail yard look more realistic. This one has a lower roof. They match up fairly nicely with these distribution centers. And as you can imagine, the detailing for these areas is almost limitless. Now we've removed this from the road so that this truck traffic is not being clogged up next to these two. And you can continue out your roads and continue to do these on this side and this side. I've neglected to put a little fire engine on this side of the Miyagi Motors factory complex. And we'll put in a little police station as well. Before I start to build in this area, I'm going to take this highway across directly. These are going all the way down to turn around. Sometimes with these off-ramps, I want to drop it down just a bit before I connect it at the bottom. And I don't want to force ground. We'll need anarchy for this. And we'll change the direction. We might change that direction. This one. Before I do any more, I want to bring out this yard ladder through this area here. Noted 2x2. Those changes are permanent, so you don't want to select where a connection or a crossover is for those. And you can just continue to move these until you're happy with it. The other way to do this would be to bring noted track all the way to here, and then bring your nodeless connection out into this one. Might look a little better that way. I'll put a link in the description to all these assets I'm using. This is a grain silo When I was a kid, we'd go down to the Railyard and climb up the ladder of an old abandoned grain silo. It was quite an adventure to crawl up that wooden ladder. In this top section here, there were pigeons that were nesting there that flew downtown every day. They'd come home to rest at night. This is an industry building, and the asset creator has selected farming industry for that. So we're just going to change this side over here to farming industry. We might leave this one as fish. Also, if you don't want your trains to spawn hanging out over this road, you can stretch this track out just a bit. Might have to toggle node snapping here. There are two buffers. That's not a good connection. Might want to come from the outside into the connection. Till you see that crossover appear, your connection's not good. So we can continue to put in warehouses in here. We're going to bring some specialized factory industries into this area. I'll continue out with this little road here. In the Garbage and Industry panel, you'll see this tab, Unique Factories. We want to bring in plastics and the petroleum refinery and the metals. You can see the icons above. The metals industry will produce luxury goods, which is the diamond icon. So it'll bring trains in with ore. This factory requires petroleum, plastics, and metal to produce luxury goods. And this factory requires petroleum and plastics. In the industry area, you'll see that these produce plastics. So we want to put a train station here. There's an asset, it's called Freight Terminal. It's this one here. It's downloadable on the Steam Workshop. And we'll put the tracks in right here. The little trick that I use for that is deleting some track. We'll delete out a road. Now we'll put in our freight terminal and we'll choose 2x2 standard entry ground level. Once I put in a little road first. I'm going to put in the plastics factory first. Then the oil refinery. This is a pretty big asset. It requires 61 workers. This one's 61 as well. Now I'll put in the steel plant. And you can see that these require goods, and soon we'll be seeing trains come in to fulfill those needs. We can also put warehouses in this area here. These are other warehouses that come with the Industries DLC. This is a large warehouse. This is the medium. It's going to go right where I put the parking. This little icon here means you need to select the source. Because this area here has specialized factories for oil, you can also use plastics, petroleum, and others, metals. We can also stretch a track from one of these two lines that's not used as often as the others. And I'm noticing that it uses this one and this one more often than these two. We'll need to select our track. This will create a little bit of traffic here. We'll see how this works out. And we might speed up the game to see if we can see a train come in for this. Here's our train coming into our new freight terminal. This one took plastics. This is an oil truck. Had we checked the train, we could have seen what industry it came in from. Because this didn't stretch all the way across here, I'm not for sure if we have a connection. You saw the little white glitch. And we didn't get our barriers. This one has the barriers. And the over-the-road rails all the way out to here. We might delete this piece of road out there that's not necessary. And we might put in some parking. Still waiting on quite a few workers for this, so don't want to expand this too much. Thank you for watching This Old Boar Plays Cities Skylines. Take care now.